Hello and welcome to this third session of Crescendo of Violence. This is a new neon-noir game from Osprey Publishing, part of their new line of things. They actually have a more noir straight game coming out in late November that I'm also very curious about. So they're doing some really interesting things there. We are taking up with our characters sort of after the semi-solution of the last case. We're going to talk about what that actually looks like. There is a system in this game for downtime actions, so we're going to talk about that briefly here in just a moment. So I do have to kind of go to the meta a little here. This is kind of our hard frame so we can figure out like where this sort of opening scene is. And I think the scene that we see is with you, and let me get everybody's names back in place. Grace, the box opens that you got last time. You look at it and you will realize very quickly that it is not a weapon, but it is something that is rare, valuable, and highly illegal. It is a cortical stack. It is an complete imprint of a person. These are in the a lot of the post-scarcity technologies have been banned, except for the most essential ones. These kinds of things have been banned. And I think you will realize, examining it, that this is a cortical stack for Boss Chafik's late daughter. And the question becomes then generally, and I'll let the three of you talk about this, like, what do you do with that knowledge in hand? What do you think, Jake?
Jake takes off the hat. He runs his hand around the brim, and holds it in front of him and says, "Now, the boss is someone who could allow me to get back to my life. If people knew that the boss owed me one, then nobody could come after me like they came after Deidre." But I appreciate this isn't just about me.
Sister Grace?
Just remind me, does Jake know who killed Deidre, or is that still a mystery?
No.
All right. Well, certainly you can.
But there's somebody with pull.
If we had inner conflict, we might be making you roll inner conflict right now.
It is why that should be in every game, really.
Yes. Timothy, right. Well, great. Let's get Grace chew on that. You can see the hesitation from Grace when this arrives. Timothy, what is your take on this?
Okay, so what you're telling me is that there's a person in the box? How does that even work? Does she know she's in there? Can she see us? Can we talk to her?
Probably not unless we upload her. Is that right, Grace?
Right. She's just data now. Suspended animation, if you want to think of it that way.
Okay, so, but she's a person. So, like, if we put her in, I don't know, one of those robot dancing bodies that they use for course girls now. Like, it would be her?
It would be her memories up to the point that she was recorded.
But, like, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, would she think she was her? Would she know the difference?
I appreciate the attraction of the philosophical here.
What do you mean
But-
philosophical? You're the one that was getting all upset that there were women being told what to do. She's stuck in a box. I mean, if we want to find out what to do with her, we should ask her, don't you think?
What do we know about the daughter?
Right.
You know that there are still a set of rare genetic diseases that occur. A lot of them can be treated, but there are some that are terminal, and she passed away about 1.5 years ago.
So this is all that's left of her.
Yes.
And she died of a disease.
Yes.
And I said to Timothy, look, Tommy boy,
She doesn't even know she's dead, does she? That's
and
crazy.
But she may never have to know.
Well, I mean,
she will just wake up not ill anymore.
I think she'll notice that she's a robot.
I'm looking at Grace for kind of some technical, like, could she live in a virtual environment? Could, is the only robot we got dancing girls? What's the options here?
So Grace, is a question for you, it seems to me, is really, do you hand her over to Boss Chafik or not? You know that Boss Chafik wants to bring her back? Or are you worried about that?
No, you're right. It's that I tell her it's just this. It's simple. This isn't ours. This is Boss Chafik, and for all his sins, bringing back his daughter is not a terrible thing. I don't think this is our decision. I think we give it back to him, and that's that. And if you want to leverage that for information or a favor, I look at Jake, then that's up to you. But I'll be happy to be free of this.
And Jake's looking down at his hat, not trying to catch Timothy's eye, because Jake is thinking, actually, he's kind of right. It doesn't belong to Boss Chafik. This, do you inherit a consciousness? If this kind of technology is illegal, then it's not covered by the law. So so Jake is pleased with the way the conversation is going, but he is morally torn.
I think here's where we hard frame. I think there is some more discussion, but I think it ends with you and a agent for Boss Chafik, with Sister Grace keeping her anonymity in the situation, and him saying, Boss Chafik knows that he owes you. He will take all of the heat off you that you might be getting from the Gramsci's regarding the situation. You will be free and clear on that. You were promised a payment in addition to the payment that you're receiving for finding the lady. You'll be given that payment. And I speak with the voice of Boss Chafik, literally. And I think you'll realize that he's actually kind of being remoted. I owe you all a favor. And I think we kind of cut away from that We have in this game downtime actions, and there are 5 acts. There's the intro act. There's some downtime acts where you can earn and do things, but right now we're kind of in the outro act for this, and then it'll bring us into the intro for the next phase. So here are the choices that you have for an action that you can do when we do sort of the outro, the wrap here. You can connect, you can hang out with an ally or contact to ensure that your bond remains healthy. You can make a friend, where you establish a new contact, a friend of an NPC or somebody you met. If you've ruffled the feathers of someone, this would be the place where you would make peace, but you've done that already effectively in play. The Gramsci's are calmed. You can practice, which allows you to gain an XP. You can relax, which allows you to gain an XP. You can shop using your cred rating, or you can indulge in vice, where you gain an XP and you gain some heat. So it's a little abstract.
And what I'm trying to remember where heat has raised its head so far, because I don't think it has.
We haven't hit heat so far because we haven't had like failure rolls in situations where we might generate heat as an additional consequence for failure.
Okay. So that's less interesting to me then.
Yeah.
At this point.
Timothy, what are you thinking?
I think I would like to make a friend of that club owner that we met in the first session.
Absolutely. You can certainly make a friend of, and let's get his name. I have to scroll down. Peter Despot.
Peter Despot. Yes.
Yes. I have added some NPCs for this second case. I've also added a new picture of Nightbird Holly because I managed to blow away the first one. This is Nightbird Holly sans makeup. So she is in row 58, column B there of the NPC tab. You can make a friend, and when you make a friend, you will record that contact with loyalty 2 and resources 2. Did you have any reserves left?
Yeah.
Did you have any reserves left?
But yeah, I got plenty of reserves. Yeah.
Okay. Then if you want, you can spend 2 reserves to increase their loyalty or their resources to 3.
Sure do. I'm gonna reflecting a wealthy and connected club owner. I will change their resources to 3.
Okay. What about you, Jake?
Yeah. I don't think there's any reason to suggest that Sergeant my police contact is at all at risk at this point. So I don't think I'm going to invest time in Buddy Maguire. I don't think I want to make any more friends. Peace has been made. Practice, relax, vice. I think probably I will stick with relax.
Okay.
Because for the first time in months, Jake can go home.
Absolutely. You can relax. You can go and hide for but in a nicer place.
Exactly. I have that apartment. I haven't been back there in 6 to 8 months. And I think, there's that scene where from inside the apartment, we see that the door pad is activated, the door opens, and it's basic, but it's home.
Yes.
But he runs his finger across, it's dusty, but it's home.
I like that. What about for you, Sister Grace?
So a question: the Gramsci's, you said they're placated.
Yes.
Is that because Nightbird Holly is safe, or is there another
I
reason?
think it's a combination of Nightbird Holly being safe, and also we have Boss Chafik intervening to make sure that you are, and well, the others, they don't know who you are, but that the others are kind of off the radar.
Now the Gramsci's and Boss Chafik are at ends though, are they not? Or
Yes, but it looks like once the box is returned, once that's all settled, they are more than willing to make peace.
gotcha. Huh. Right. So gosh, I think I'm gonna go shopping.
Okay.
I'm
What
just
kind
not
of
sure
thing
what.
would you like to buy?
Um, uh, I want to. I just want gear to help me make it easier to screw with people's AR and um, any like neural implants or anything like that. So I suspect this might be a specialized vendor that I need to go to,
Yeah,
or
yeah. What is it you want it to do?
um, gosh, I think I want to try to build up, more of a reputation for my alter ego apparition, where
Okay.
so that the bad guys know who I am, and they maybe make them think twice about the things they're doing.
So
Um,
kind of like some kind of, in addition to your kind of camouflage, something that maybe modifies the light that changes the atmosphere around.
you know what I want? I want I want something that like a techno virus that I implant in my I don't want to say victims, but my the people I'm punishing,
Okay.
so that when I kill them, their body glows, and then it, eventually disintegrates to
Oh,
destroy any
okay.
any
So
evidence
you
and stuff.
want a like a equivalent of a shadow ring, kind of a punch sign. Okay. Yeah, I
Right.
think actually something like that uh, is reasonably easy for you to obtain. Uh, so let's say difficulty 5.
Okay. Uh, doo-doo-doo.
Now the last
Boss. Mhm.
meta thing I also want to mention here before I have you roll that is you also get for the end of session, end of outro, you also get 3 more XP, everybody. So make sure you note that. Sister Grace, you were saying.
I've lost the link to the dice roller.
Okay,
Uh,
let me find that.
sorry.
Roller is lines and fails. Copy and paste. There we go. There you go.
All right. Great. Thank you. And chat.
So to tell you what you could probably buy with your XP, if you have 5 XP, you can buy a new talent. For 3 XP, you can buy a talent from rank 1 to rank 2, or from rank 2 to rank 3. Everything else is prohibitively expensive. So did you hit a 5?
My computer is frozen.
No.
Uh, I think I know why. Hold on a sec. And you said it was 5, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, you've got this.
Yep.
Yep. So we'll get that. The last thing I want to mention is, so that's the outro. Go forward. there is, though is only repetitive because I should have kind of done the outro at the end of last session, but kind of ran short of time. But we do the intro, and we're going to do the intro scene. But in the intro scene, you also get a chance to take a downtime action. You can connect, which we talked about, building up an ally that had been damaged. You can earn money, in which you would get, which case you would get an extra D10 on your first wealth test during the session. You can practice, which gives you an experience point. You can prepare, which gets you a reserve, 2 momentum, or you get to utilize a contact an additional time. You can shop again, or you can indulge in your vice. Timothy.
All right. So here's a just to step out of character.
Absolutely, yeah, because we're kind of in
Like,
the meta
Yeah.
level here.
So like if you relax, you get an experience point. If you indulge in your vice, you get an experience point and it adds 3 heat.
Yes.
So is there any reason other than I just think it'd be interesting narratively to add heat? Like mechanically, is there any reason to do that instead of just relax, or are there situations where narratively some of those options will be taken off the table, or what?
No. There are
There we
3
go.
ways to gain experience with actions. 2 of them, practice and relax. It's just the fiction,
Yep.
and you get an experience point. And then the third one is vice. You gain experience point and 3 heat. I didn't see anything in terms of talents or anything that suggested that there's a way to use heat in a positive way, which I would assume there might be an engine for that, but I didn't see anything like that. It is very much just an in-fiction choice.
Yeah, from a design standpoint, it's like, okay, and I mean, and if it were like if there were only 2 ways to get XP and you wanted to do that, then that would make sense because of like reading it over. In a cycle, you can do 2 of the downtime actions. And if you were to take them, if you wanted XP both times, that would make sense. But it's like, it's kind of weird that it's, I don't know, maybe not weird, just interesting to me that it's structured that way.
The only other thing is that in the Act 2, you can do a prepare action, which is one of the XP actions, which is the only real difference there.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. The prepare gives you XP as well. The thing that makes the most sense for Timothy, I think, and given what we've established so far, is practice. Practice. I mean, he goes to rehearsals. We see him, in the studio, with the mirrors, with his leg up on a bar, and doing vocal exercises and all that kind of stuff. Do a little, chorus line montage of him. Just keeping his instrument tuned, right?
Absolutely. We probably see one scene of you in 0011 doing a show there. So we get
that's
to
the
your
club there.
contact.
You're doing it like a cabaret thing or something. Yeah.
What about you, Jake?
I think Jake needs to get bits of his old life back together. And so I think we see a montage of Jake visiting bars and pool halls, and meeting people on street corners and exchanging greetings as I prepare for what may come.
Okay.
And I think, given that it has now dawned on me that I am not going to get reserve any other way, I need to roll a D10 to get 1 reserve in the pot somewhere.
So here's the thing: you will actually, during this phase, everybody's going to roll all their reserves.
Oh,
because we're in a new case. You'll roll all your reserves.
Okay, then I will reconsider that, particularly given that D10 came up as a 6, and I will instead immediately gain 2 momentum.
Okay,
because the momentum served me well last time.
Yes, it did.
Does momentum max out? Or hang on, wasn't there some momentum zeroing?
I was looking and I checked on this and I didn't see something that said that momentum zeroes out at the end of a case. So at least for the moment, we're keeping it. Because I couldn't find it on a quick glance through and search.
Okay, then I will sit on my 5 momentum.
Okay. And Jake, Timothy, you can roll your d10s for all your reserves. So you can taste the sweet taste of disappointment when you roll those. Sister Grace, what do you want to do?
I'm just practicing.
Oh.
I'm practicing being sneaky.
Okay.
I'm practicing climbing around with whatever, like I guess she has like regular climbing gear that she gets. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you got enough XP to potentially buy a new talent or raise a talent from level 1 to level 2.
Oh, yeah, I had 3, so I added the one for the practice already.
Yeah.
So I think I'm almost there.
Almost there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I am going to frame up our starting incident for this particular case, this two-parter. Got two episodes to do this in. Tell me, Sister Grace, how is it when the camera comes to you that we see you? How is it that you are listening in on your mother? Are you outside the window? Are you hacking? Are you
Oh
somewhere else? What do we see?
Um, I don't see her sneaking out a window or sneaking outside a window. I do see her hacking into communications that my mother might be having. Uh,
Yeah. So we see that the camera is kind of, a shot from one of the securities. You've rigged it up so it catches audio as well. And you're listening in. And your mother is meeting with her, might be called her concierge, her right-hand man, her assistant. His name is Gil Cherkasova. And I have a picture of him there next to the very handsome Timothy Gallivant in the NPC tab. And Gil is speaking, and you know that there's some big event coming up, but you've kind of been outside of the loop. There's a big thing coming up. You've kind of down at the outside. Some of your siblings are a little more involved with that. Xenia and Tadzu, respectively, your sister and your brother are a little more involved with that, as is your cousin Sandor. But he's kind of he's not on the outs like you are, but he is down the ladder. And Gil is saying, well, preparations are underway. By the way, I'm going to apologize. Now you're going to hear me do 2 characters talking to each other, which is death for a GM. I hate it so much, but I'm going to do it. And Gil says, preparations are underway for the event, Adelaide, but I'm a little worried. We received a new threatening letter. And Adelaide kind of looks up and says, it stands out from the others. It's too creative. And he says, no, that's not the issue. This one's new. And I ran a threat analysis on it, and it's high. And it looks like they're going to, they claim that they are going to strike at the event. There were some other indicators that they might have some inside knowledge there, which may raise some questions given what we're doing. And she says, is it like the others? And he says, no, yes, and no, it's different. The problem we have is, of course, because of this, we can't beef up security. And everything has to go according to plan. So I just want your approval to maybe look into it. And she says, look into it, but make sure that you don't rock the boat. This is important. We've spent a long time setting this up. Tell me, do you think it's the Detective Emmons? Have you found him yet? No, we haven't. We're still tracking him down, but I've had some promising leads, but he went to ground. Well, even if it's not him, make sure he's found and dealt with. And then there's kind of the breakup of the conversation, and they head their respective ways. You'll kind of check your planner, and you see the next event that is coming up is in a couple of days. It is a big revival, massive performance show that is going on at Video City Music Hall. And it's the Risen World Star Song and Show 2093. And I think the thing that you will note is that as you're kind of looking at some of the headliners there, some acts and things like that, you'll see that the sort of showpiece figure they have in is the eldest Gallivant, Timothy Gallivant, is headlining. There are some other people on that. It looks like they brought in a very famous director for it and some other things, but you know that's coming up in just a few days. What do you do, Sister Grace?
Question, on the phone call, was it just those two people?
They
or-
were in her office actually talking. You know, they've got the usual scramblers and things like that to prevent overhearing, but you're a hacker.
Right.
And so that's the only way you were able to punch through their stuff. And they essentially, he went his way back into the other offices to work on stuff, and your mother returned back to preparing her sermons.
Right. All right. All right. First things first. I gotta warn. Jake.
Okay. So do you
I know. You're number two. You're number two.
I assume you do that in person?
I was gonna do it if I can get a secure line. I was gonna do it securely.
Okay.
Just to make it faster.
Jake, when the camera comes to you, when you get this call, where are you? What's the backdrop that we see?
Oh, I think it's this one.
Okay.
I think I'm in my apartment.
There, you know, get the little ping on your dumb box with a call from, well, it's unlisted, but you've probably taken that. That's how Sister Grace operates.
Yeah, I think it probably comes with a little icon. That some, you know, kind of rotating three-dimensional dumb box that I associate with Gracie. Yeah, what is it? What is it, hun?
Jake, I got some news that is confusing me, and which you might be able to shed
You
light
should come
on.
over. You know, it's just great to be home. Just, you know, kicking back, shoes off.
I'm afraid I was going to ask you to. You might need to leave your home.
What?
There's a man who works for my mother, and for some reason, she has bid him to look for you and take care of you. I'm sorry.
What is
to
this
deal
about
with
me
you.
staying in the chauffeurs that time?
I don't think so. Something deeper is happening.
What do you? Gracie, what the hell? I just got home.
I think until we learn more, you need to make sure you're safe.
God damn it. And he's now moving around the apartment, stuffing stuff in the go bag. Stuffing stuff back in the go bag.
Yes.
The duffel bag that he's been carrying around the city this last 8 months. Okay, look, we need to talk about this. Meet me at Billy's bar on 8th.
Actually, why don't we set a trap for this person?
Way ho now, Gracie. You just told me to head for the hills.
Right. But if I let slip that I might know where you are, I might point him in the direction and we can snare him, see what this is all about.
Yeah, I mean, the last time somebody sent somebody for somebody, that somebody was pretty dangerous.
Yeah, but we're holding the cards here, pulling the strings.
Yeah, okay. Arrange a window on a restaurant table for me then.
Perhaps somewhere more discreet.
Okay, tell me where and when.
Right.
And where the hell's Tommy boy? Tomothy.
I will talk to him soon. I'll send the details to you.
Yeah, I need the Boy Scout of America.
Timothy, when you get the call from Sister Grace, where are you? What's your backdrop? What do we see?
I mean, I think it's like if we kind of you know what? Like I'm almost certainly I spend a certain amount of time obsessively rewatching my performance in that closed show. Like just, alternating back and forth between the poles of, oh my God, like I'm the most talentless hack who ever lived. And I can't believe these Philistines didn't appreciate the groundbreaking work I was doing here. And so, a certain amount of my day is devoted to that, that inner conflict, if you will. And I think I'm like pausing and rewinding as I get the call from Grace.
Grace, what do you tell Timothy?
Timothy, there is an event my family's holding. Somehow.
Will there be food?
Oh, there will definitely be food, but this isn't an invitation.
You need a beard? I'm happy to be your beard. I've done it before. I'll do it again.
No, Timothy, listen. I need you to listen. My family's involved something, and I don't know just what yet, but they're gunning for Jake.
Oh.
I need to find out how serious this is. He's requesting your assistance as we set a trap for the person looking for him.
And he has forgotten my phone number?
He is busy leaving his house, making sure he is in a safer location.
Well, all right. Well, yes. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, tell him yes.
All right.
Tell him I will be happy to help him.
I'll send you both the details.
That's how much I respect you as an interlocutor, Grace.
There was something else I wanted to tell you, but I can't remember what it is just now.
That bad.
Oh, yes.
There's a long pause there. I like
at this event, your brother Timothy has been invited to perform. I'm not going to say headliner. Has been invited to perform. I thought you might want to know. You can hear her roll her eyes.
Similarly long pause. Audible drawing of breath. Just because we share genetic material does not make him my brother. And if your mother wants to waste her money, well, it's her money. And for the record, he's not older. His incubator was just on the left. So they took him out first. We're all the same age.
Frankly, I'm surprised my mother didn't include you in the performance, but perhaps she sensed some friction would happen.
I'm sure she did it just to spite you. You should feel good about that. It means that she cares about upsetting you. It would only be a problem if she had grown utterly indifferent to how you felt.
I think I would prefer that.
Spoken like someone who still has access to her trust fund. Look, dear, let's do this. I'll dress up. I'll go to your party. And normally I don't get to be in the audience when one of my imperfect duplicates tries their hand at this. So being able to offer critique, I feel that would be nothing but helpful for him.
Then that's a kindness perhaps he does not deserve. One last thing.
I'm a humanitarian, Grace.
I can't argue with that. I have to go. One last thing. Stop watching the video. And I hang up.
Nice. Let's take our first break here. We'll come back in 10 and we'll figure out about what next steps are. Sound okay? Okay. So it sounds to me like there is going to be kind of a meetup before you set a trap or whatnot, right? Does that seem like a fair assessment? So we're at, was it Bill's Bar on 8th? I think it was. Tell me, Sister Grace, what is the theme of this bar?
Western, old-time Western.
Yeah. Old-time Western in that kind of collage of like Gene Autry and real Western regalia and Italian spaghetti Westerns. Like it's a real mishmash here. Why is this a watering hole that you go to, Jake?
It isn't. That's the point.
Okay. And Timothy, what's your reaction? Like, I'm curious how you react when you come into a place like this.
Oh, like it's always to like immediately try and find like where the fun in this place is. Like where all of these places are a mix of people come here to like be intimate while being in public. It's this kind of it's this interstitial space between public and private. And so I think I immediately gravitate to the there's mechanical bull karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
Where you like ride the bull and the lights flash and everything, and you're supposed to sing, you know, like some kind of like, you know, country pop rock song as you're riding the bull. And I just think that's delightful.
Absolutely. And I think you kind of gravitate over there and then just like glance at the corner and you'll see the fuzzy image of Sister Grace and Jake. My assumption is always that Sister Grace is trying to be sort of incognito.
Yeah, I think so.
What are you having? The waitress comes by, Timothy.
Oh, And like, I just, whatever the people standing around the bowl are, whatever they're holding, I'll say, whatever that is.
Sure. One Neo Schlitz. Hang on. They'll bring the can over for you. Jake, Sister Grace, Timothy, how long has it been since the case with the box? Are we just a few days? Are we a couple weeks? How long down the road do you think we are? Jake?
I think it isn't that long. I think it's more, no more than a week or two.
Okay.
Because otherwise there's a good chance that Gracie's mom would have found me.
Right. That makes sense. So to about a week. And Grace, you called the meeting.
Right. I fill them in about there's an event, couple days. It's what was the theme? A revival, Risen World.
Risen World Star Song and Show 2093.
Now is this the very first one, or is this an annual event that I'm aware of?
She's clearly treating it like an annual event, like presenting it like an event, but it hasn't happened before. Like this is clearly going to start.
Right. So I tell them, they were talking about a threatening letter and someone knowing what they were really planning. They were suspicious about you, Jake, being that person who sent it.
What?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, why me? I mean, I've never met your mother.
I want to add also that they've purposely left me in the dark. I was not part of the planning, or if I hadn't been hacking, I wouldn't honestly have remembered this was happening.
And this isn't about you kind of helping out and putting me up and stuff.
This is absurd because anybody that knows Jake would know that he wouldn't threaten somebody by correspondence.
It's just not my style.
Unless your mother's had her fingers slammed in a drawer lately, she has no reason to think that Jake's involved.
Regardless, she wants to eliminate the possibility.
I would like to engage with the mechanics.
Okay.
When you make a test while trying to gather information, question others, or put the pieces of a puzzle together, spend reserve to gain 1d10 on it. I want to think through cases that I've been involved with. Were there any of them that got anywhere near, the church, or what's the church called? Nova Light Ministries, or Grace's mother, or this guy
Jerksova. Okay. Sure. What action token do you want to spend with that?
I think I might cash in. The action token. Of course, yeah. Sorry, it's the action token, isn't it? Oh well, this is important. I'm going to spend the green one.
Okay.
So, and I will then have to spend a reserve. So then I will spend one of my 2 3s.
Makes sense.
To get clever 2, green token 2, and the reserve gives me 5.
That sounds good. Let's have you go ahead and roll 5d10.
5d10. There's a 9 there.
So I think you'll go through this. This is not the kinds of spheres that you were working with. That's not your thing. But I think there'll be a bit when you're kind of chewing on this and you remember how anxious Deirdre was and how Deirdre was trying to kind of keep you away from this, and she kept hinting at it being something with politics. But then you remember just something you saw in her bag, some kind of letterhead or sigil from this Nova Light Ministries. And I think that, like, the pieces kind of fall together there.
And lightning fast, my hand stretches across the table, grabs Grace by the forearm and says, Grace, is this to do with Deirdre? Damn it, Grace.
I
What do
can't
you
imagine
know?
how. I can't imagine how that would be connected.
I never put it together. When you put me up, I was at the I was queuing for that for and the sign. I've seen that sign. Deirdre had that sign. That letterhead, that symbol you people have. Damn it, Grace, if your mother was involved in Deirdre's death.
My mother's many things, but I never thought she'd be capable of murder. And I'll put my hand on your hand and gently remove it from mine. Jake, we'll get to the bottom of this.
Damn right we will. Where's your mother?
At the moment, she's probably in her office.
And Jake gets up. And leaves.
Cold.
Timothy, what's your
up.
take on this as Jake clearly gets up with the intent to rush off?
Like I kind of like hold up a calming hand to Grace. And I say, and I say, look, let him go. Whoever is watching this place and has been following him will see him storming out of the bar. They'll go to grab him, and that's when we'll step in to save him. I mean, if your mother's people are watching him, they know we're here.
They were looking for him. That's not the same. And frankly, I think Jake would know if someone was following him. At least I would hope so. But either way, let's make sure he doesn't get into trouble.
Well, I know, but I mean, if your mother's people are finding him or looking for him, they're almost certainly keeping track of you because they know you're friends. Well, look,
I don't think that's a given. That's in fact not a given.
So the mother's people don't know that they have any connection. Got it.
Sister Grace has
No.
kept her activities
Okay.
very much on the QT.
Okay.
And in her sister Grace identity, she sneakily put me up in the servants' quarters.
All right. But like, look, when he gets like this, he just needs to go punch somebody to feel better. And we're not going to talk him down from it. So we should just follow discreetly and make sure he doesn't do anything too foolhardy.
If he's gonna punch my mom, I want to be there.
He'll never reach your mother. She's got too many people for that. We both know that.
Right.
So in that classic noir way, I think we wipe or the Uber dropping you off at this incredibly fancy, white fronted, big, highly secure, televangelist industrial complex here, with all kinds of glass work and things like that, and a big lobby and security everywhere, and a reception desk and all of that. And Jake, you get out and kind of, it's probably this moment where you look up at the building.
It's a sign of the religio-industrial complex.
Absolutely. What do you do?
Go in.
Okay, come storming in. Are you carrying a gun?
Yes.
Okay, then I think that's when the buzzers go off. And immediately you will see the security people come swarming out from like several directions, like they are used to dealing with crazies with guns kind of thing. And two goons move in to intercept you, and you can see some others kind of at the side, like,
One uppercut, one right cross.
okay, let's have you roll there with what do you think it is?
Violence.
Violence. Let's have you roll violence.
I'm going to mark the red,
Okay,
which takes me from 2 to 0, but I always get to roll 1d10, I think.
that you do.
What am I looking to beat?
Oh gosh, let's see. So we've got some people here.
28.
Good. This is a gang. So right now, just a 4 to get past this first group.
Cut to the elevator.
Okay, so yeah, you could come smack through there. You'll get to the elevator. You'll do that thing
Throw
where you
one of them at another 2 to knock them down, and hit the
hit that
elevator.
button, and the button, like the elevator doesn't move. You're hitting the button, and you will see this young woman come out, and she says, "Is there a problem that we can help you with, sir?"
I need to see somebody. I need to see Adelaide Aladdin.
I'm afraid that's not possible, Mr.
Tell her Jake Evans is here.
Mr. Emmons. Why don't you sit down? And I will tell my mother that Jake Emmons is here. And if she's available, maybe you could talk. We'll see to that. Now, you do understand that you've struck some of our security and you've brought a weapon into our building, so we might be a little upset.
And I think we see, the goons getting up and kind of massing in a sinister and threatening manner on the other side of reception.
And she steps forward close to you, like so that if you wanted to grab her as a hostage, you could. And she kind of puts her hand on your shoulder and says, "Can we sit down and have a conversation?"
I want to talk to your mother.
Then let's go over and sit down, and I'll have somebody buzz up. All right?
Okay.
And she will go, and Xenia Allerton will take you over to the couch, and we'll sit down there next to you. And you see that she's clearly, intercom talking to the secretary. Security is moving. They are getting into position, all of that kind of thing. Tomothy, Sister Grace, I assume you followed Jake to the building. And I think that you certainly, Sister Grace, have enough control over the surveillance in the building that you have seen all this go down. What do you want to do, Grace? I mean, you have to give away your connection to Jake if you wanted to intervene directly, but you've got some other options. You can tell that they are communicating with your mother.
All right. Right. I look at Tomothy. I'm gonna. Do I need to be there? I mean, it might be better if I stay back and come in when he's needed. Yeah. I can eavesdrop on the
Okay.
meeting. I think.
Timothy, are you staying with Sister Grace? Are you
Oh
going
yeah, I'm with
inside?
Grace. No, I
Yeah.
mean, if we're like, if we've got a front row seat to what's happening here, I'm microwaving some popcorn right now, so that we can watch this. Between Jake and his mom, I'm confident that if this escalates to the point where Jake is in danger, we can make a big enough scene to interrupt whatever's going on if we need to.
Xenia turns to you, Jake, and says, now my mother will see you, but I'm going to need you to leave your weapons. You're muted.
I reach gently, finger and thumb, into my coat. And I pull out the gun by the handle and I give her the gun.
And she says, and the blackjack?
I reach gently into the
And she gestures for not one of the guards, but the secretary to come over and put them in a box and take them back and put them on the desk, and gives you a little virtual chit. Now, I'm going
You
to have.
think they had nothing to hide here?
She says, you understand that as a important member of this faith, that we are often subject to intrusions by people who are opposed to our faith, crypto fascists, religious obstructionists, and also those who have been unbalanced by the labors of modern society. So we have to exert a certain amount of caution.
You can tell your mother I want to talk about Deirdre Connell.
Well, we're going upstairs right now.
Okay.
Why don't you stand up? And she says, we're going to get in this elevator, you and I and a couple of these guards, and we're going to go on up.
You do know I didn't use the blackjack on them, don't you?
You didn't use the gun as well. We're appreciative of that. You certainly could have escalated the situation at any time.
Okay.
And these two stand there. They're, of course, they're big, gene modded, or clones built for this kind of thing. They loom over. You give them the eye, they give you the eye, the whole elevator ride up. And you will come up, and you'll be led through the fountains in this upstairs office, beautiful holograms, all kinds of things. It's beautifully done, pictures of Allerton with all kinds of important figures. Timothy, Grace, you're kind of watching as the camera shifts in there. And Jake, you are brought in to office, big real wood desk, carved front that's kind of illuminated. There are a couple other guards in here, and Adelaide Allerton will stand up. You can see the family resemblance with Grace, and she will say, Mr. Emmons, please come, sit down. And she gestures to a chair. Xenia, thank you so much.
I'd rather stand.
As you wish, Mr. Emmons.
Two things. One, I hear you're looking for me. And two, what did you do to Deirdre Connell?
She stops and she says, I have not seen Deirdre Connell in some time, months, as a matter of fact.
When was the last time you saw her?
I spoke to her when she came into the office, perhaps a little more diplomatically and tactfully than you did. I had
Why?
I had the strong sense, and later information supported the idea that she believed that there was some kind of malfeasance happening within our church, and she had an accusatory tone with me.
Is that why you killed her? And I would like to cold read
Okay.
her reaction to that. So I'll burn the yellow token.
Okay.
And I get a straightforward extra D10. So I think this is clever.
Yeah.
So it's 2D plus 1 is 3D10. What kind of dissembler is this woman? And I'm guessing the number is high.
Well, she is that. This is certainly her strength. Go ahead and roll.
That's an 8.
She says, I did not and kill Deirdre. And neither has anyone in my organization, certainly not acting on my orders or to my knowledge. As far as I know, she is still alive.
What?
I have no reason to believe otherwise.
And I call up on my dumb box the reports of her death. And, flick it onto the wall screen.
That's a missing persons and a declared dead, Mr. Emmons. There's a difference.
Dun, dun, dun. Cut to Timothy and Sister Grace. On
Yes. Sister Grace, Timothy, this is kind of going on.
Wait a minute. Jake has been running around like this the whole time and they never found her body?
Just evidence to suggest that there had been a killing.
Sorry, I'm saying this to Grace.
Oh,
like
okay.
in character,
Yeah.
I'm saying this to Grace,
Sure.
like,
He's following his instincts, and so far they've
oh,
fairly proved well, except maybe for charging into my mother's building.
I mean, he did get to talk to her, which is what he wanted.
Fair enough. That was just the first half of the interview.
If only there were something that we could do to put her off balance, to maybe help Jake a little bit. Something to, introduce an unexpected element into the conversation. Grace.
What are you thinking, Thomason?
I don't know. Well, perhaps the presence of someone who might, agitate her. Grace.
My concern is that my mother will not be forthright. Well, no, she wouldn't say that. My concern is that my mother might hide even more than she normally does if I'm present. If she thinks she's alone with Jake.
So why on earth would she have any reason to think that you're there with Jake if you don't say anything about Jake? I think it's entirely reasonable for you to go and ask her why, instead of hiring your friend who she's actually met to sing at her gala, she hired a complete stranger instead. It makes logical sense, right? That you would be very upset by this. And it's the kind of thing that you might, barge in to confront her about, regardless of whatever else it was she was engaged in.
I'm just wondering if I can fake such outrage. But I think I should try for Jake's sake. Um,
Pretend someone spilled coffee on your keyboard. Take how you would feel about that. Hold it inside yourself. And then when it comes time to talk to your mother, just let it out. Imagine she spilled coffee on your keyboard.
you
Grace,
think? Yeah. All right. All right. Fine. Let's strike the hive and see what the queen does. I'll go off to the meeting place.
Timothy, are you going with her?
Oh my goodness, no.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit here and watch.
Okay.
No, that would be like it would be too, it would smack of desperation if I were there with her while she was doing this. She needs to be angry on my behalf, but while I'm not there. I'll be in her ear though, coaching her.
Okay. Jake, there's a little bit before we bring Sister Grace in. She goes, I take the safety and security of my faith very seriously. And certainly I've kept tabs on what has happened with the investigation of Detective Deirdre. Because I've been very curious about it. We have received a number of threatening letters. We get these all the time, but some of them read more significant in our threat analysis than others. And quite frankly, I suspected that given that Miss Deirdre had vanished, that perhaps these letters were from her, or perhaps even from you, Detective Emmons, given that you had also gone to ground.
We can almost see the cogs moving. That the worldview is going.
She's very put together. She's very controlled. She's been questioned by the best. I think you can tell that. Her daughter Xenia looks a little confused through this whole thing.
Can I see the letter?
I will give me your address. I'll have some of the papers sent over to you so you can see the threats that we have received of late.
I give her Timothy's address.
Okay. And I think that's when we hear the doors open and Xenia looks kind of shocked and the mother looks past you. Sister Grace, how do you come in here?
Oh Lord. Yeah. I think I normally have a neutral face, but my mother can read me well enough to show that I'll show her that that I'm upset. I look at Xenia and look away. I look to my mother. I look to Jake and pause there. Then back to my mother.
Grace, we're in the middle of a meeting here.
I think I'm owed some answers. And begging your pardon, sir. I think this might be a little bit more important.
Xenia says, I don't think Mother owes you anything.
Oh, that's good. Use that.
Why? Because she spent it all on you? Oh gosh, I'll throw down.
And you'll hear Sister Adelaide will say, not in front of the help.
How many guards are here?
There are 4 of them.
Uh, you know what? I'll wait here while you conclude your business. I see it's almost done, and then we will talk.
Mr. Emmons, if you will excuse me, one of my wayward daughter apparently has business here that she has decided to come in unannounced. Not unlike yourself, but
If I'm the help, I'll take the job. I'll find who's threatening you. Send the stuff. Turn round, put on the hat, head for the elevator.
all right.
Trying not to catch Grace's eye.
And this, your mother gestures to the guards to leave. What is it that you want that should bring you up from your clerk's office downstairs to bother me without even notifying me?
I noticed a typo, and I'll throw down the itinerary for the event. There appears to be a letter here. Should be an O.
Are you saying that we should have hired Timothy? She's laughing.
You've always liked Thomasy, I thought.
He is theater folk, dear. One treats them with a certain delicate touch. They're very, very wound tight. I would be the laughing stock of the season if I were to hire Timothy Gallivant to headline.
Redemption. Push her on the redemption angle, Grace.
We see Grace wins, and she says, well, we are a religion. We are all about giving people second chances. And you know he's my friend.
I have a suggestion then. And if this will help you, I think, and will demonstrate that I am benevolent. Your point about redemption is well taken. Reach out to your friend Timothy and tell him that we need an understudy for Timothy Gallivant at the show. He'll be paid scale. The contracts are already signed, Grace, and done. But if you wish to throw this dog that particular bone, you may do so.
When you hear the scream of anguish, it will be him after I delivered your message.
If only because you don't have my gift. I really wish you took after your sister Xenia. You should have seen how she calmed that lunatic who barged in here and struck our guards.
Let's pretend for a moment that despite whatever has happened in our family, I don't want anyone to come to harm. Who was that man? And what is this about threats that he mentioned?
As you know, we get threats quite often. There have been certain specific threats made regarding the show, which is coming up. And Gil has taken some of them more seriously. Uh, Emmons is a partner to a detective who had been investigating our foundation some months ago, and who went missing. I believe that he thought that we had something to do with that. I believe that he was possibly the person who had sent one of these series of threatening notes.
Do you still think so?
I don't know what to think. There's more to Jake Evans than meets the eye. He makes me very nervous, but having him in my employ will certainly be to my advantage.
Right.
Here's the address of the theater. I've already told people to expect you if you wish to go by and take your friend Timothy over there. They are in rehearsals right now. There are some issues with the production at the moment.
Very well. If things escalate with this threat, you can call me. I do have some connections with the common folk, given that you've had me minister to them in the past.
You see her stop
Mhm.
and like maybe for the first time actually like look at you more seriously. What do you think you're rolling to resist her kind of reading you?
Oh. Um, let's see what we have. I have oh, I think sneaky is my best quality.
Okay.
Yeah.
What token do you want to spend on this?
Oh, because it's important to Grace, she's going to spend a green token.
Okay. Then go ahead and roll your sneaky.
What was? I do have a 10. Oh, no, I don't. I have a 9.
You see her stop and she goes, see her pause. She nods and kind of, indicates that you should leave.
Right.
And as you walk out, the door shut behind you, and I think you're still listening in on the room. And she turns to Zinnia and says, something is up with Grace. I don't want you to get involved because I don't know what it is, but perhaps your brother, if he can pull himself together, can talk with her and see if he can find out what is going on. Tell him those are his marching orders if he wants to remain in my good graces. And she will nod, and you're probably riding down the elevator even as you see her go to leave. Timothy, what's your reaction to all this? What has been the look on your face throughout this whole thing?
I mean, like, she says that thing about the understudy, and like, I kind of grind my teeth and glare. But like my expression kind of, as they're conversing, my expression kind of slowly changed from like, yeah, to hmm. Okay, and like I think I can work this to my advantage sufficiently that it's starting, that I've convinced myself it's a good idea, or at least a viable idea.
Let's assume that various steps are taken to make sure you're not followed, to stay off surveillance, and let's bring the three of you back together to compare notes and chat.
And yeah, and that's funny because like as Grace is walking out, I said, that was good, but I have notes.
Yeah, so we're in another out of the way bar, a little bit off the beaten path, and the three of you can talk about how you wish to proceed. What do you think your read on it was? All of that. Jake?
Deirdre may not be dead. Maguire thinks she's dead. The police department say she's dead. They just can't find the body. But if there's a lead, I need to follow it. And if it's connected to these threats being made against your mother, then what have we got to lose?
Do you believe her when she thinks Deirdre might have written the letter? Because if that's true, then she doesn't know where Deirdre is.
I don't know. I need to look at the stuff she's been getting.
Jake, are you prepared for the possibility that the person she's hiding from is you?
Just confusion. What do you mean by that?
I mean, she's made herself difficult to find, and specifically, she's made herself difficult to find. She's made herself difficult for you to find her. That
She's made it difficult for everybody to find her.
But I just think that you need to be ready for that possibility.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm ready for it because it ain't true.
All right. All right. You've been spending so much time not living your life because of this that I don't know. I would hate to see it. Really hurt you.
I think, the brim of the hat comes down. We see the jaw, the grinding teeth.
But I also know we're not going to talk you out of following through on this. So we'll be with you regardless of what happens.
Thanks, Tommy boy.
The only possibility I could see of Jake being her motivation is if she's trying to protect him. I don't know what kind of.
I didn't say why she doesn't want him to find her, but just that she may not want him to find her. I think that's possible. That may be true. That she thinks he's protecting.
The grinding jaw pauses because Jake hadn't thought of that. Maybe she is trying to protect him. But for what?
Do you have any access to her? Do you have any idea why she would have been investigating my mother?
She didn't share. She told me it was high society or there was resources ranged against her. And so I just assumed those resources had acted.
Well, the person who would know would be Gil Jerksova.
Also, your mother said something that I noticed that maybe you could illuminate us on, Grace, and that's that your brother seems to be somehow needing to cultivate her good graces. Your sister seems to be thoroughly under her thumb. But what's the situation there?
He's jealous of my sister, of the attention my mother gives her, and he believes she's being groomed to take over the ministries after my mother is gone, whenever that will be.
Hmm. So, I mean, I'm not a detective, but I have played one. If your mother isn't capable of murdering somebody, or even, say, ordering them murdered, what might someone who thought they were doing the right thing on her behalf be capable of? Especially if they weren't terribly bright about that.
Well, he's not bright necessarily, but he hasn't been particularly violent. Could he be led to that act? Possibly.
Are you prepared for the possibility that it's one of them that's responsible and that we may come into real conflict with them?
No, I don't think that's the case, Thomasy. I think
All right.
my mother has too much to lose. I can't believe she would stoop that low.
What's your brother's name?
Tadzu? Tadzu. All right. I think we need to split and investigate. There are areas each of us specializes in that that may work best if we go individually. Is my thought.
I'm just wondering, Grace. Deidre was better at the whole data thing than me. I'm just wondering if maybe there's something on the office data store that you would find that nobody else has that would give us a lead as to what she was looking for.
Did you share an office with
Yeah,
her? All right.
Emmons and Connell. Well, actually, Connell and Emmons.
Yes, I can stop by. Tonight. Oh, you're muted.
Sooner the better.
I know they'll be following me at the moment. I think nighttime will be my best bet, our best bet.
Let's take our second break. Let's take 5. We'll come back and we'll start doing a little bit of individual investigation scenes and then maybe regroup. So let's start with Sister Grace. And you want to hack and rip into these data stacks that are left behind at the office, find out what you can find.
Right, yeah, and I do want to make a point of being there, having snuck in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? Of course, Venetian blinds, light coming in from the street. I mean, do you break in through the door? Do you go in through the window? Do you do some other way to get in? What do you think?
It's raining.
Yeah, it's right.
Right, and I think that rain makes makes my camo suit work overtime as I climb as I climb down from the roof into through the window.
Yeah, little fire escape, slide over on the ledge, little electric lock, get the door, come in, and start going through it. Let's have you first, before we do any kind of hack, like to do deeper things, let's have you kind of do an exploratory kind of investigation of the system roll here. What do you want to roll that with?
Just a general investigation of the office in the office.
This is more the investigation of the stack, like to get a sense of what the system's like, what's happened to it in general before you go digging deeper, kind of thing.
Okay. I'm yeah, I'm taking my time. I sit at her desk, what I assume is going to be Deirdre's desk, and just kind of imagining her sitting here, get into her space, feeling her chair, the layout, the logistics of where everything is. And then I turn on the computer, start looking how she labels her files, all the little details of what kind of personality she might have.
Does that feel clever?
Yes, I do. I think that is rather.
Do you want to mark your red or your yellow token?
I'm going to mark the yellow.
Okay. So that's 3d10. So 8 is a 3. Yeah. So I think you can tell that as you're going through here, someone has come in and like cleaned files out, has done that. And I think that you can see like the telltale signs that tell you that it wasn't anybody who had real access to it. So somebody, not a pro like you, but somebody with training and skill came in, went through the files, flushed files down, kind of did it globally. This is not the kind of thing that you would put past your mother to do if she thought that somebody was investigating. This is part of what has made you suspicious about her. But it does seem, I mean, you are a hacker. Are you going to dig deep?
Yeah, I'm gonna look for I don't know anything about hacking, but backup copies, anything that had been downloaded that can be retrieved to some other drive.
Okay. So what do you want to roll that with? Or do you want to spend a reserve?
Good question. No, I'm gonna try to sneaky. I'm gonna try to, and sneaky in the sense that Deidre was sneaky in trying to hide something or have a backup.
Sure. Then if you spend your red token, you're rolling 2d10.
That's true. Okay, no. So then we'll spend a reserve, then not one of the 9s.
Okay.
All right. Spend.
There are fragments here, bits and pieces. You can tell that Deirdre didn't keep much on the drive. She buried things away, but there's a lot of money. There's a lot of connections, bits and pieces and things that point to some of the international scope of your mother's church and quite possibly some involvement with criminal activities, maybe money laundering, maybe illegal financial transfers, that kind of thing, and political contributions, off the books, all of that. There's nothing concrete here. You're getting bits and pieces, but you can tell that Deirdre was on the trail of something big. Either your mom was involved or someone else was using your church for that effect. But she definitely had some of the pieces. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yes.
What's your reaction? Like, what do we see? You've been suspicious of your mother, but maybe not this deep. What's your reaction?
So someone's using her. Someone's using my mom. Or yeah, one of these politicians who's getting these contributions must be, you know, spearheading all this illegal activity. Um, and it's just a question of how much my mom knows about it. And just will determine how guilty she is.
Yeah. Jake, what are you up to?
I think we see me breaking into Deirdre's apartment. And you know, I don't have Grace's level of sophistication. So I think this is, you know, kind of
Okay.
to leave her open the door. And so the door is slightly ajar behind me. We see the kind of slightly cracked wood around the lock, or plastic around the lock, and you know, Jake is just going through the apartment. You know, it's dusty. It's clearly been searched by the police. But again, he's looking for anything that gives him hope that Deirdre might be alive.
Let's have you roll.
Yeah, well, let's spend another reserve so I can get another D10. I'm going to go green. So this is, I think, cautious, careful work.
Okay.
2, 4, 5 D10.
Couple of nines there.
Those 10s are eluding us
Yes.
this time round. So a couple of 9s.
So I think the thing that will strike you is that since the police searched this place, someone has been here and has taken some things and has gone through some things. And I think that gives you like a moment of hope, but I think there is something about it that tells you that it's not Deirdre.
Yeah, if this was like the Holly, if this was like Holly, then that little crystal unicorn, she'd have taken that.
Yeah. But somebody's clearly taken some clothes and some other personal things. But the other thing you can see is like clearly Deirdre's like not computer, but kind of like equivalent of like dumb box answering machine thing has kind of been gone through, and somebody has gone through like her papers, particularly stuff that she wrote, her notes, her notebooks, that kind of thing.
Take the notes and notebook.
Okay.
Because it
The
might make more sense
spines
later.
are cracked in a way that makes you think that somebody went through these and scanned everything.
Oh, wow. Okay. Jake is leaping to conclusions that someone is now framing Deirdre. They've taken copies of this so they can get her handwriting down pat. And when those letters arrive from Adelaide, it's going to implicate Deirdre.
We'll come back to that, won't we? Timothy.
Yes, I really like. I've got just like an itch about her brother, like a just like a bee in my bonnet. That there's something going on there. That because he's the one that we're all not worried about right now, you know, just kind of based on the laws of drama, if nothing else, he's going to turn out to be immensely important in the end, right? So I'm going to go, I'm going to go try and I'm going to see what his deal is. Can I ingratiate myself with him? Can I become, buddies with him, part of his crew? Can we commiserate about how hard it is to have siblings that are being given what we deserve? Because I feel like I have that.
And you can see that he is his role right now is kind of doing on-site supervision for the show.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Okay.
So I think we cut to you coming down, the house lights are down a little. You can see that there are people up on stage. You can see our director, who you will recognize as Uno Robeson. Uno. He's just called Uno because there is only one. And
Thank
he's
God.
Like, 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3. He's our sort of our manic Bob Fosse, but director, Italian, very strong. No. I can.
I'm sure he's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes,
like that. Yeah. So,
and I think there's this moment, and we see your brother up on stage, and he's doing this thing, and he's getting ready, and he stops, and he looks out, and he shouts out, "Timothy!" And he's supposed to be in the middle of this, and the director, he leaps down off the stage, and he comes running up the oh my God, I haven't been in the theater in a while.
The aisle.
The aisle.
Yes.
I couldn't remember the word for aisle.
Okay.
Comes running up the aisle towards you. And you can hear Uno, "What are you doing?" Screaming behind him. He comes running up to where you're at. Timothy grabs you, takes you in a bear hug. There. Timothy, what are you doing here?
And grinning ear to ear, hugging him back, slapping him on the back. "Oh, Timothy, it's been far too long." What is Grace's mom's name again?
Adelaide.
When Adelaide offered me the opportunity to be your backup, how could I possibly say no? We're going to do this together. Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, this is great. This is amazing. I didn't dare dream. I thought that you were in New York, but this is great. Come. You have to meet Uno. I know you know Uno, but you haven't met him. Uno. This is my brother, Timothy. He's going to be my understudy, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm delighted to be here, sir.
Well, that's for me to decide. It is not for anyone else to decide beside me.
Well, all right. Shall I go tell her that you'd like
her who?
Shoot. Hang on. Let me just jot that name down so it's a player.
Sure.
Adelaide, yeah.
Adelaide. I can say, "Oh, Adelaide." Well, I can speak to her.
That woman! I'll kill her!
I mean,
Oh,
I'm friends with Grace, her
fine,
daughter.
Fine. Well, you just have her direct the show, and he storms off.
He's a handful, I say to
goes,
Timothy.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Timothy. Adelaide has been changing things and moving things around, and there's been a lot of, and he's very high strung.
Well, I mean, he's the director, but Adelaide keeps the lights on.
You always said that. Always know who is paying the bills. You always said that. I appreciate that. It's well, come. Let me show you. Introduce you to some people. And show you around. And show you. We can share a dressing room.
Fantastic.
It'd be just to be like old times. We were all packed in that one room. It was so much fun. We'd all, and then sometimes we would trade each other's names, and they wouldn't know who was who. It was so good, so good. And he will move you around. I think the other person that the two people that you will see is the leading lady is Sybil Cabral, who is a little young for the role. Like, she's hot, young, but maybe not experienced enough to carry this off, and you're a little surprised. And when you kind of look at Timothy, he kind of nods like there's something there going on.
No, if your features are symmetrical, they don't care if your notes are not.
There's a hollow star that he'll introduce you to, a real hot Muric person, Mendoza, who you're a little surprised. Like, this is the kind of thing that she could fill this hall herself. Why is she here, and why does she not seem like she's in a good mood? Like,
okay.
She's
that's interesting.
Clearly
right.
not enamored of
sure
being
I'm
here.
sure she's chafing a bit at not being up front.
Yeah.
But that's what you do for prestige, honey.
But eventually you'll be brought back to this guy who's sitting backstage vaping and talking, and Timothy will go, and of course Grace, so you must know Tatsu, and he will point you to Tatsu Allerton, and kind of looks up and goes, "Oh, it's one of the Gallivants. Which one are you?"
Timothy.
Oh,
I'm friends with your sister Grace.
Oh,
She got me this gig.
But you're the one who. Anyway, well, good. I'm glad. She always had a soft spot for people down on their luck.
And I laugh. And I say, well, that makes a whole building full of us, I suppose.
And Timothy will say, I should go and talk with the shop steward and get everything set here. Are you going to be okay on your own?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I think I know my way around a theater.
Oh, no. I didn't mean it like that. I mean, like, I'm just so glad to see you. We'll have dinner later, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay. He'll head off. Most enthusiastic of all of your family.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. I think it's probably been a while. You've forgotten just how himbo he is.
And like, he's gone, and like the second he's out of there, I just like plop down into a chair next to her brother, like exhausted. And I kind of like look over at him and I say, please tell me that's not just tobacco.
And he'll pull out another vape pen. You see him plug in another plug and hand it over to you.
And that takes the edge off, doesn't it?
So Grace got you a gig here?
Yes, I mean, I'm doing it more as a favor to her than she's this whole thing. I mean, I don't need to tell you how complicated your own family is.
Yeah, don't get me started.
She's upset with her sister, and just the do you know what a sycophant is?
Oh, do I?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see that you do. And I
Yeah.
kind of hook a thumb like in the direction of where Timothy just went. Um, uh, some people don't understand that eager to please doesn't automatically mean able to please.
You're speaking my language. Speaking my language.
So I mean, if at this point I can make some kind of roll,
Yeah,
to,
let's
you know,
do
like,
that.
basically make him into a contact or whatever it is that I'm trying to do here, or
this
just get
feels
some information.
like empathetic.
Yeah.
That does feel like the path they're using here. What token do you want to mark?
I'm gonna use my green here.
Okay.
I want this to land. So my buddy move here. So do you roll first to see what my target number is, or do I
I've got
roll it up?
I think
and
we're
you
going to
go-
set this at like a 6 for base effect, and then we'll kind of scale it up from there.
Got it. Cool. So I'm just gonna take my 5 that I got and roll those.
Okay.
Oh, except hang on.
No, don't hang on.
You know what? I don't need to hang on because I got 3 10s
Three
in that roll of 5
10s.
dice. So I mean, technically, I probably would. I should have gotten an additional
momentum.
die for. You know what? Like Smooth
Roll
Talker
it.
should give
Yeah,
me one
roll the
extra
extra die
there,
just in case you get another 10.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I did not. Okay.
So you get absolute confirmation. Like what Sister Grace said is right. He is jealous of his sister, but you can also tell that while he's talking to you, he's also very cautious. Like he has clearly gotten bapped on the nose with a newspaper by his mom, and he is trying to like get back in. There's enough like about where you like things are a little more threadbare than they ought to be. He's not doesn't have the highest end of things. You have a sense that probably his allowance, his pay has gotten a little restricted, that kind of thing. He's the one time where you see him like maybe open up is you will see his cousin Sandor come over with like some papers, and that's the point at which he kind of like yells at the guy to back off. He's talking to somebody important and don't bother him. You're just a hanger on. You're lucky to have a job. Blah 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 blah, and really lets this guy have it. Who clearly gets angry and then backs off. But I think the thing that you can tell is that he's not violent. That this is
He just wants mommy to love him.
he just wants mommy to love him.
Yeah. Okay.
And everything that like if he's dismissive at all of Grace, it is all sort of his mom's talking points. It's not any real feeling of that, and maybe hiding a little bit of guilt that he hasn't stood up for her. But like, yeah, you can certainly make him a strong, a guy who I like you. I like you.
Oh,
You get me.
And absolutely my tack is together we are going to blow her mind with this show. She has no idea. Like if you guide this, if you can just capably guide this, we entertainers will do the rest for you, my friend.
Excellent. And I think there is the moment when those notes come across to you, Jake. And it's a combination of that handwriting, and somebody has clearly fed all of her writing into an AI and used an algorithm to generate threats and has generated these notes. And you can tell that someone is setting Deirdre up.
God damn it, Deirdre. What did you get into?
And I think that's where we're going to stop for today. If that's okay, I think that's a good line. We'll start with Sister Grace next time. Like give you a chance to, if you want to hit up your family or follow up, and we'll meet people up. But I think that's where we're going to stop. Does that seem like a good place? So I would like to do a quick stars and wishes. We got one more session left. So stars being things that you particularly liked, and wishes, things you want to see in this last episode. Rod, can I start with you?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed myself immensely. I love playing with you guys. I love the investigative nature that we took this things that we did today. I love the family. I love yeah, both Grace's and Timothy's family. I'm very curious what's going to happen at this event. Gosh, yeah, yeah. I love Jake storming into the building. I love the Timothy's voice in my ear, kind of. um, yeah, yeah. I just had a lot of fun today. Wishes now or later?
Yeah, let's see wishes now.
Um, I don't. Yeah. I don't know. More of the same.
Okay, no, I think
Yeah,
that's absolutely fair.
yeah. Mhm.
Alan.
I'd endorse all of those actually. I particularly liked, Timothy convincing Gracie to, go help Jake at the point where Jake is all set to leave, and that got us into Dynasty, and then when Grace is in there, the coach in the ear was delightful. Yeah, work with that. You can work with that. That was great. It was spot on, Jim. Really spot on. I enjoyed the way, Lowell, that you played these various Aladdins. They are distinctive. And it is. We've stumbled on some kind of high class soap opera going on. With the sad not bad, the perfect daughter, the less perfect daughter, all the pieces are here. So all of that, great, thank you. I think I might add a star to the system. I think the system kind of allows you to play to the character you create. Actually, I thought it was a bit overblown in session one, but I think as we've kind of explored it, I think it's got legs. Wishes. I think we have to know if Deirdre is dead or in hiding, or in a clone vat somewhere.
We have to find out Deirdre's fate next time.
We do.
Absolutely.
I think so.
I think that's perfectly fair. Jim.
Yes, yeah. I guess star one is to you, Lowell, for warning us that you were about to have two characters talk to each other and assuring us that it would be brief. Because you're right. That's like the GM 101 kid is like, never do that where you're just having conversation between two NPCs. But sometimes when you're listening in or something like that, it's unavoidable for a minute or two. But I appreciate your kind of giving us that CW before we
yes
before we got into that. So that was real good. Huge star to Rod for why? Because you spent it all. That was exactly that like like one line to encapsulate the relationship between the two of them. Like I learned more about like their whole childhood from that one line than than if they had
That's
argued
good.
for 10 minutes. That was fantastic. And yeah, definite and Alan, stars to you for just kind of generally going off half-cocked, which is like a very hard-boiled moment. But then your descriptions of yeah, I take this guy, I toss him into those two guys, like, because it's that there's like different kinds of fights, and that wasn't a fight really, that was a get the hell out of my way. And like if those guys had had a chance to swarm Jake, they'd have beat the crap out of him. But all he wanted to do was get by them. And the way that you described that and everything, I got a very vivid picture of that. Just kind of, you didn't need anybody unconscious or anything, like just down long enough that you could step over them to get to where to get to the elevator. And I love that sequence, and I thought that was a lot of fun. So, as far as wishes go, I mean, I want to see like I love the fact that we have like 3 potential heel turns, any of which could be legit. In my brother, in Grace's sister, or even mom. But boy, sister, my money's on the sister turning out to be genuinely malevolent in a way that none of us are expecting or whatever. And of course, Deirdre, turning out to have some kind of agenda of her own that, in typical hard-boiled fashion, she turns out to not be, that like Jake's image of her is not who she really is. Not that ever happens in a noir to some poor sap. So really looking forward to our finale next week.
Awesome. And today was a joy. Like everybody's characters were hitting all cylinders, and I really enjoyed it. We've got a lot of interesting NPCs. We'll probably focus on the theater itself next time, and certainly get up to the big performance. So thank you all very much.
I hope it's not presumptuous. I've added Timothy to the NPC tab.
Oh, yes, thank you.
He's on row 96.
Oh, no, I have Timothy on there.
Oh, do you?
Yes. He is next to Deirdre.
Oh God. Ah,
Yes.
right. Well, I flipped the picture. So if you want to
Oh yeah, you did the picture flip. Jim and I were talking about that at the break. I was like, I wish I had flipped the picture. Awesome. And good stuff about family and relationships too. So I think there's a little theme that we're getting there. I'm going to stop the recording.